here's actually how I use free writing, and it'll freak you out. Rob's already freaked out. I haven't even said anything. Yeah. But you don't have to use it this way, but here's how I use it. Because remember, I'm a writer. I write speeches, I write books, I write, TV and things like that. So I sometimes I'm writing something that I know millions of people are going to see. So that's scary. Even though I consider myself a good writer, it's very, very scary. So I kind of need to take my conscious mind out of it because it would be too freaky. So what I do is I'll sit there and I'll free write on what it is I'm supposed to be writing for 15 minutes, and my alarm will go off. And I look over what it was I was writing, and I underline interesting phrases, and I boldface really cool phrases. And now I want to do a second 15 minutes of free writing, but I want it to be different than the first, right? I don't want to keep on going. So I say, based on what I wrote here, what's a starter thought for my next 15 minutes? That'll send me in a new direction. Maybe there's an idea that I didn't develop thoroughly. Maybe there's a story that came to mind when I was reading it. Maybe I now know that something's wrong that I thought was right. Whatever it is, I just want to go in a new direction. So now I hit my alarm and I type for another 15 minutes, fast, nonstop without. When the alarm sounds, again I look over and I underline interesting stuff and boldface really cool stuff. And it's rinse and repeat. I will do that for 2, 3, 4, 5 hours in a row. 15 minutes writing, looking at what I did, new starter thought, 15 minutes over and over and over again. And at the end of it, I have pages and pages of stuff. And a lot of it is not usable, a lot of it is bad, but I promise you that there are ideas there that I could never have gotten if I just sat there and thought about it, because my flywheel thinking would have kicked in, or I would have freaked out being too nervous to try to, but so that was like the secret to me. Does anyone, I have 5 minutes? If you hold it up twice, I have 55 minutes. All right. Can you see I write jokes for a living?
You do write jokes,
Yeah. What did I say during the beekeeping thing yesterday? During the bee thing, they have a little unit, a handhold smoker, there's smoke in it, and so they spray it on the bees, and so it's for the bees actually to get hungry, so that the bees will calm down. But they spray the smoke to make them hungry. And I said if I owned a restaurant, and I was like, I said, any dessert for you? And they'd say, no, I'd spray them. And say, I'll have a mud pie. Okay. Anyway, does anyone have any questions about list making? Oh, I'm so sorry, Andy. I apologize. I didn't come back to you.
I think I find this fascinating.
Please.
In your own personal experience, have you found that actually handwriting it out versus typing?
That's my single, I've been doing this for like 17 years, 18 years or so. That is 30 to 1, the most asked question. Should you free write using handwriting, or should you free write like Stewart in almost like an otherworldly kind of like muse type way, where you didn't see him. If a Tyrannosaurus typed, that's what it would be like. He was like this. It was great. Right, exactly.
Have you ever been called a Tyrannosaurus?
No. Surprisingly.
Right. Handwriting, or I myself, this is just me, I always use my laptop. You guys are suckers, so I didn't give you the option there. I just let you do. It's like, oh yeah, pick up your pen. No, I always use the laptop. And the reason being is because I can type faster in the laptop. My hand starts hurting and especially now that I rarely ever write, like Jeff was in pain, he needs a splint, so I only use handwritten when I'm in a situation where I want to start writing, and like, let's say I don't have my laptop. But here's another reason why I don't do it. If you handwrite it, you now have to copy what you free wrote into the computer, and now I'm trying to make stuff as simple on myself as I can possibly. So I want it there. I don't want to like write it again. You know what I mean? It's a pain for me. But thank you. Yes?
I have an interesting observation listening to what people wrote.
Yeah.
There's a parallel here, and I read this years ago. Sports psychologists, when they're working with athletes, that have fear about a big game, or a fear about an opponent, or a fear about, you know, what the coach is asking them to do. They take them through visualization exercises and literally put their mind in that situation in the game. And a number of people, like I think Ivan made me think of this. He put himself in the game, on the play of field, visualizing what would happen if I asked that question, or the gentleman that had to advocate for raises for his team.
Right.
He put himself on the field of play in front of all of these people that are going to say yes or no, right? And he was in that situation virtually so many times that when he or she got there, they've already been through probably all the scenarios.
Right.
And then some.
That's right. That's exactly right. So they can deal with objections and, oh yeah, it's a beautiful visualization technique. Thank you for that. Yeah, Stuart.
You mentioned you work with a lot of different type of people, from the madmen to politicians. But
yeah.
For us, probably more corporate type business executives. How do you suggest to do this? I mean, do you suggest they take their teams and set up this kind of like, take an hour and, you know, force their people in doing the free writing kind of the way you did to Spark, or do it regularly? Is it like a, like how do you recommend, you know, executives sort of take this on to incorporate this? Because I found it fascinating.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you for that question. Well, so one thing I find that a lot of people could be really innovative, but they don't have tools. Like they think that it's pure brain power. It's not. It's very, very mechanical, right? I write for a TV show. When I have a script to do, I have to write in a week 250 jokes. In a week, I have to write 250 jokes. And by the way, there are other, like, this is like top stuff, so like it's pressured. And it can't just be because I'm funny. You know what I mean? I couldn't get 250 jokes out because I'm funny. You know, so I actually like have tools that help me almost in a mechanical way where I'm forced to be funny. And so I look at list making and free writing as a way of forced creativity. It's like as long as you keep on writing without stopping and you write a little faster than you normally do, you are forced to think differently. You can't help it. It's a mechanical thing. Some people call it spiritual. I wouldn't call it that. I'm saying it's mechanical. Like you can't move. You have to move in a new direction. It's not possible. So what it is I do is like, I present it that way. It's like when you need something new to do, rather than just saying, oh, let's think it up and come up with the same stuff. You need tools to get you to think differently. Here are two simple tools. And so I would teach it to like a whole group, and then sometimes they would do, I've seen people as a whole group, project teams, do list making together. And sometimes they'll make like a master list together, and then they'll take on big sheets of paper, they'll put the headings of the lists they want to make, like on a big table, conference room table, and people will just walk around from one to the other, like the whole team, not in order, although I guess you could do it in order now that I think about it. But it's like they look at a list and they'll write down a couple of things on it and they'll move to another one while someone else is doing it, right? And at the end they gather that stuff and they start talking about it. I know another organization that I taught this to, and they did this for years. The first thing in the morning, I mean this is wild, but they really did this forever. They would free write for 15 minutes together in the conference room before the day started, or as the day was starting. That was the first thing about what it was that they had to, oh, I'm sorry, you held it up. Now I'm really pushing my luck. Yeah. We're way, all right, I'll just, but they, it was about what the day was going to be and how they were going to tackle, and at the end of that, they would have a discussion. Again, not reading from their free writing, because maybe they wrote something very inflammatory or whatnot, but they'd use the free writing as a discussion, and they did this for years in order to get their minds straight for the day. Does that answer the question? Yeah, beautiful. Last thing I'll say, so you have my book, Accidental Genius, which is about free writing. It's got alternate forms of free writing in it. And if you go to my website, levyinnovation.com, that's L-E-V-Y innovation.com, you'll see 2 PDFs there that are free. You don't even have to leave your contact information. They're on list making. The first one is list making as a tool of thought leadership at the top, and then down the right-hand side, there's one called the fascination factor. So those are more ideas about making lists and using lists. Anyway, I hope you got something out of it, and thank you so much. Thank you.